Now joining me in studio, author of Hope Rises from a Shattered Innocence, Lorraine Taylor. How are you doing
Hi,
today?
good. How are you?
Good, good. So tell me a little bit about your book.
Well, the book is a faith-based wellness recovery model for persons that are living in the aftermath of trauma to help support them through the negative impacts of their lives.
And kind of what inspired this for you to write
Well, I went through childhood trauma. I'm a trained professional master's level therapist from Syracuse University. And it's just something that, as I was writing, came out. I didn't really know it was going to turn into a book. But I decided to write some summaries of chapters and send it to the publishers. They liked the ideas, and so then I had to write the book.
Okay, and in the book, kind of what are some key aspects or themes?
Well, I touch on the emotional aspects so I don't trigger people, because we can all relate emotionally. You know what it feels like to be frustrated, depressed, or angry, or sad. Trauma distorts a person's sense of self, of God, and others. It really twists their perception. So until they can get some healing done and letting go of a lot of the emotions, the frustration, the anger of what was done to them, and letting go and surrendering is a big part of the process. I share practices that are helpful. I talk about habits. Where do habits come from? How do you change them? I talk about processes. Why are processes important? Because I share processes, the way to go through. One big thing I share in the book is a person has to be able to acknowledge what's true situationally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. What's true? And then they have to accept it at a deeper level. This is true. You don't have to like what you're going through. You can hate it, you can be mad, just don't hurt other people, right? So you just have to acknowledge this is where I'm at. It sucks, or it could be beautiful, or whatever. And then you have to allow all the emotions and sit with the painful emotions and face your fears. Because fears keep us from facing the fears, but once you face the fears, they just go away. They're not really as bad as we thought they would. So those
Yeah.
are some of the things I share that can help people.
Okay.
I've gifted books to a lot of people, 300 books to organizations and spiritual leaders in our community, medical professionals, and other professionals working with people who've undergone trauma so they can understand, because I went through it, and you have to go through it.
No, I think that is a very powerful story, and thank you for being able to share all of that and for people, obviously. And so you've said you've given a lot of books, to people,
Yeah.
300 copies. What other projects and more things do you have coming up with the book?
Well, I have an exciting project right now that I'm working with Arrowhead Parable Christian Bookstore in Johnson City, New York, with realrestoration.org, RealRestoration.org. It's a missions project where the head of the missions reached out to me. They were rescuing girls from trafficking over in Bangladesh, India, Nepal. People can buy a copy of the book at Arrowhead. Craig will put it in a box. When I get enough copies, I'll ship it to their state headquarters on the West Coast, and then they can take them. Hundreds of girls, they're using this book already in their faith-based recovery program for the girls, and he's buying digital copies because he can't afford the copies. So the public could help in that way. The other way you could help is I'd like to partner with your fundraising. If you're an organization, church that's dealing with people that have been traumatized, you could use my book as part of your fundraiser, where you get part of the proceeds and the book would go to one of your clients. I did that with the YWCA's Journeys program last year, and they received some profits, and they also received books for the women in the Journeys program, which helps women and women with children who've been homeless and experienced violence to get housing and jobs and counseling and legal services. So the proceeds I got from the book, I donated extra copies so the women would have it. It's really a valuable resource to have.
I love that because you put a lot of time into writing that, but you're also giving back. You are taking some, but you're giving even more. I love that, so
Yeah.
thank you. So what feedback, I wanted to ask, what kind of feedback from all different age groups have you gotten from the book?
I've gotten a lot of positive feedback. I had 2 men bought my book. Both lost their wives 6 years ago. Both called me on a Sunday afternoon, and they're both 5 years apart, or they're 20 years apart in age, and they both said one was reading sequentially, the other one had childhood issues, so he was reading the chapter on trust. They both said they got peace. So it helps people with grieving. I had somebody that came over from another country, watched genocide. he was terrified to read the book, and then he thought it wasn't true. It was a fantasy that there could be any hope. Then he started reading it, and he couldn't stop reading it. And that's even the mission guy. He bought a copy, and he said, I thought this was just for the girls, but every page is speaking to me. So that's why he wants it for the girls. You know, it's helpful. I'd like to donate it to jails, to people that are doing any sort of recovery, whether it's relational, combat, sexual assault, national disaster, whatever it is, because our stories matter. And what we go through matters, and we can help other people, and this can bring hope to people in a dark day.
Okay, and do you have any plans on writing more books in the future?
I'm planning on writing a workbook-like type book for this one. And I do want to write another book that would be more spiritual, coming home to yourself in more of a spiritual manner, because we're all looking for all these things. What really matters is in here, who we are, our character, and our values, and our morals. You know, once we have satisfaction in here, you know, your boat can be rocked, but you'll come back to your source of center.
Yeah.
And so I want to write more of a spiritual journey, because I feel we're spiritual beings learning how to be human.
And you know, what's the most rewarding part of being able to write this story and do it for other people?
Just the benefit people get, and the people. I just did a talk at Blue Dolphin Breakfast, and 2 people called me up that are reading the book, and they're just really, really thankful in the way I share, and I open myself up, you know, and when we open ourselves up and are real, people can relate. And I love talking, I love speaking. I'll come to your event, your church, your group, you know, if you want me to speak.
And you know, last question really quickly, where can people buy this book?
You can get it on Amazon, you can get a digital copy, you can get it at Barnes & Noble and Vestal, or you can get it at Parable Christian Bookstore in Harry L. Drive in Johnson City. And I'm doing a book signing November 30th from 11 to 2 at Parable. So stop by and buy one for a friend, buy one for a leader, buy one for somebody, and buy one for yourself.
All right, well, Lorraine, thank you so much for coming on
You're welcome.
today. And,
Thanks
you know,
for having me.
Yes, thank you for writing that inspirational and, you know, book, something to help people through life.
Thank you. You're welcome.
For those of you who might have missed those details, Lorraine Taylor is dedicated to supporting individuals who have experienced trauma through their impactful book, Hope Rises from a Shattered Innocence. With a focus on healing and empowerment, the author shares personal stories and insights designed to inspire resilience and growth. Through their work, Lorraine aims to foster healing in families and communities, encouraging everyone to reach their fullest potential. For purchase the book, you can visit Amazon.com, Barnes & Nobles in Vestal, and the Parable Christian Bookstore in Johnson City.